What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's kind of pre-call. We talked about it a little bit on the call with Elliot, and I wanted to dive a little bit more into the idea of this being a traveler and not a tourist. So this is a mindset idea, right? This is a way to kind of look at yourself and look at the way that you experience things and shift a little bit of where you're at. So let's kind of dive in and figure out like what both these ideas look like. So the tourist, this tourist to me, I've seen it forever, and it's people that it exists in every single realm, and it's not regarding just travel. It's whether people come to the gym or come to Sunday service or go to retreats or even travel or any of these things, right? Like they're not interested in learning from the experience. They're just interested in seeing it. They're just interested in having a moment with it, a check the box, I saw the Great Wall of China, check the box, I went to the gym, check to the box, I am part of a CrossFit gym, right? Like these are all things, like these are all stuff that we're going to try to identify as like stuff we saw, provide value, add to the phone list. And a lot of times I'm doing this to appease other people because I know I'm supposed to go do this. I'm supposed to spend time there. This is what vacation looks like, right? Is I'm doing the exact same shit as everyone else. I'm not changing anything in my reality when I return back home from what I learned on these experiences. The traveler, on the other hand, is always changing, is always growing, is always looking and learning from the experience, having some time to reflect on it, and being able to see what they want to add into their own lives. Like I got introduced to sauna stuff, you know, being in Iceland. And I love the way it made me feel. I love that camaraderie shared with, you know, the boys sitting there and enjoying it and kind of self-suffering together. And I've instituted that back in my life over the last handful of years. Like these are parts that I grab from travel, that I grab from these experiences and I bring back. You know, my first couple trips to Fit for Service and being around that type of group, that's what really brought me into breath work. That's what brought me into the journaling. That's what brought me into more of the self-awareness work. In the years that I was traveling while competing, I was traveling and training at places like Elite FTS in Columbus, Ohio, or going out to California and training at Super Training, learning from Jim Windler in person, becoming friends, getting out to see John Welborn and his crew, Kelly Starrett, and all these other people that were experts, including Reese Hoffa down in Georgia, an Olympic shot putter. These are all people that I was interested in learning from. So I went out to meet them. I didn't go out as a fan. I went out as a white belt. Like, how can I learn from them? What can I learn from them? What can I apply to my life going back? And whether that was mindset or whether that was actual, training modalities or something new from breathwork, sauna, mobility with Kelly to open up a lot of avenues for me. And as that continued to apply, not just from sports and went into the rest of my life, like I said, going to different retreats and being exposed to new things and just being willing to try everything. So the tourist to me has some set expectation of what a trip's going to be, and it either is a good trip or a bad trip based on whether or not it was what they thought. You hear that all the time. It's like, oh, it was smaller than I thought it would be. Oh, it was different than I thought it would be. Oh, it was crowded. Or these are the first things they have to say about it, not how it made them feel, like not the experience, not what they learned from it. And as a traveler, I don't want to be that way. Like the journey through my life is one long timeline, and I'm trying to make the most of it. And the way that works is I continue to build skills and learn more information and unlearn the things that I thought I know to be true along the way. Once I started eliminating what I thought I know is true and only operate on what I have experience with and understand that my experience is mine, that doesn't mean that someone else is going to have the same one. Likely they won't. But it all matters how you find the experience, what you gain from it, and what you change in your life to keep growing toward those things. Just like using the cold plunge over the last couple years and becoming a traveler when it comes to that, right? Like, it's one thing to go join in with a bunch of people and do a polar plunge and laugh and ha ha ha, we got in the water and what bravery. And then there's another part of using the tool. That like, oh shit, I found something there, and now this is going to be something that I add into my life, whether that's cold showers or the cold plunge or having a barrel, but it changes you over time because you're doing it more. You see the big difference between those two things and what the big operating difference is and how that makes life run. So being able to focus on this experience and what you take away from it, none of that matters unless we're integrating, unless we're actually applying it to our lives, unless we're actually taking the information, figuring out how it can make us better and move forward. Now, through that process, you have a couple things, right? Like, as you learn something new, we still only have 24 hours in the day. We still have to make the most of our time. And so it's not just addition. A lot of Western culture and our ideas around learning is that it's always adding. You're always doing more. You're always adding to it. You're getting busier. You're learning more information. But there also should be some focus on unlearning. Unlearning things that aren't true. Unlearning the things that you think you know instead of what you do know. Those are very different mindsets. That's one is building an assumption, right? That we're following into that. We're going to have an assumption of what we think we know based on X, Y, and Z. Instead of genuinely going in wholehearted to an experience, seeing what happens and deciding, does it make me better or worse? Do I want to add it into my life? And then going forward. It doesn't have to have any more emotional attachment to that. But being a traveler is what's going to continue to have you living present and being in the moment and being affected by the places you're at, instead of just going to collect some fucking merit badge, right? You're not collecting this thing to say, I went to 50 retreats this year. There's plenty of people that operate on just the high of the moment and then go home and don't do anything to bring that high and change back into their life with them. They believe that that happiness is out there to go get. They believe that happiness is out there to be found, that fulfillment, that you have to find it, when it's true that you've got to create it. And the only way you create it is through these daily actions, through these daily practices. That's why it's called that, right? Like, the traveler is interested in the practice. The tourist is just showing up and hoping, I get it. That like it hits me, that it floods me with it like fucking magic, that I bought a thing and now I'm a samurai, right? Like, just because you buy a fucking sword doesn't make you a samurai. You got to learn how to use the tools. In fact, I would say you could be a samurai without the need of the sword. One of those is a tourist, one of those is a traveler. I want to be a fucking traveler in my life. I want to be familiar with parts unknown. I want to be not just geologically and around the world, geographically? There we go, we're back. Not geologically, that's rock talk, my friends. But geographically around the world to expand my map. I don't want to guess what I think's out there. Like, I want to go experience it instead. And I want to be changed by it. I want to use it to alter the ideas I have of what makes me operate my best, what type of people I want to be around, what I want to be exposed to. If you don't know, then you just guess what's out there. And you're not changed by any of it. You're not integrating. You're not mixing it into your life and allowing things to become. So the tourist is always going to be reaching for something outside of them to change them. Vacation, going to a new place. Whereas the traveler is focused on the journey. The traveler is focused on what I get along the way. The traveler is continuing to build their repertoire, their experiences, their knowledge, their everything, so that they can continue on to try bigger things, to unlock more of themselves, to figure out more of who they are, what they love, what they want to do, what are they inspired by, what is their purpose. But this self-exploration has to happen internally, externally. It can't just be done vicariously through anyone. And if you're just going out and collecting photos and collecting stamps in your passport instead of being changed by it, you're wasting a giant opportunity. You know, the things in this group that we talk about, right? Are you going to be a tourist here to the group and show up? We went into this over the last call on Wednesday. Like, are you going to be a fucking tourist and show up and jump in the chat every once in a while and talk about I'm training in the morning? Or are you going to start implementing everything? Are you going to dive into the information? Are you going to dive into the books? Are you going to fucking separate yourself from the people in your life that don't support the growth that you want? And this doesn't mean you have to motherfuck these people, but it does mean that you need to be set to go on your path no matter what is going to accompany you on it. Because they don't get a vote in it. This is your path. It's your choice. It's your life. Be the fucking traveler and understand that we're not trying to get somewhere. The journey is the goal. So we're going to dive into that on Sunday. I want to say thank you guys for jumping in on these. And this concept's got a lot of depth to it. So think about times in your life where you have implemented things. For those of you that have attended the Hard Reset Retreat and added those tools into your life, from the breath work, from the journaling, from everything else, we have seen fucking giant gains from Jared, Austin, Antar, we're seeing Jason, we're seeing tons of people make these big moves from implementing these tactics and skills and techniques. It's not fucking magic, but it is a little bit. So harness it and do the work and show up and put your energy into this thing of finding out more about you instead of needing external stuff to make you feel a way. You're in control. You can do it. Take the fucking wheel, my friends. Start making choices and be a traveler.